Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm as a moderator in this meeting, the Honorable, the State Representative of ASEAN, and the Honorable, the audience. First of all, let us thank to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Taala because of His blessing we are able to come here to join in this ASEAN Mental Health Task Force. Secondly, salawat and salam also delivered to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness to the brightness. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting today is ASEAN Mental Health Task Force. And now, let's open our meeting by saying Basmalah together.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
According to WHO, the definition of mental health is a welfare status where everyone can realize consciously about his ability, then be able to overcome various pressures in his life and can work productively, which impacts on his ability to contribute to the surrounding environment. In this meeting, we would like to talking about the mobile application that relates with mental health and hopefully can solve the problem. And by this application, the user can consult their mental health problem to the best psychiatrists in each country. There are three sessions in this meeting. For the first session is the presentation by each representative. The second session is the question of the other representative, and the third session is the question by the audience. So, for the first presentation will be reported by the representative from Indonesia. Mrs. Alin, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the narrator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Indonesia is the world's largest archipelago with 18,307 islands, spanning more than 5,400 kilometers from Sabah in northern Sumatra to Merauke in Papua. According to the latest census in 2014, Indonesia is the fourth most populous country in the world with a population of 250 million. Indonesia has 34 provinces subdivided into 508 districts and cities, which are further subdivided into 6,793 sub-districts and 79,075 villages. Indonesia is a developing country. As a developing country, Indonesia has placed high priority on achieving the Millennium Development Goals or MDGs. Therefore, the government has been giving greater attention to health programs that are closely linked to MDGs, such as maternal and child health and infectious diseases like HIV, AIDS, TB, and others. On the other hand, mental health has not been prioritized, except for a focus on injecting the users due to the close links to HIV transmission. However, because of the increasing number of psychosocial problems in Indonesia, the government of Indonesia has realized that mental health has become an important health problem and currently is paying more attention to mental health programs. Ladies and gentlemen, mental health problems such as depression, anxiety, somatic disorder, alcohol and drug abuse, and some development problems in children are common. The National Health Survey in 2013, Indonesia Basic Health Survey 2013, estimated the prevalence of mental disorders at 6% of the adult population. And in the community, mental health awareness is still low. Major mental disorders such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and depression are common, but often ignored as health problems by the community. Ladies and gentlemen, the main office for mental health At national level is the Directorate of Mental Health Services, which is under the Directorate General of Health Services. The main responsibility of this directorate is to monitor and supervise the mental health services in the health facilities and also to advocacy and other issues on mental health programs. In Indonesia, there are 41 mental hospitals. There are 32 public or government hospitals and 19 private hospitals, and the current total number of psychiatrists is 800. Although mental health is not the priority list of the primary health center program, some mental health service activities are conducted in some primary health centers. Example of such service activities include treatment of mental health problems such as non-complicated psychosis, simple insomnia, mood depression and anxiety, the community mental health news program, mental health volunteers, basic counseling program by clinical psychologists, and geriatric service. To support mental health services in primary health centers, the Ministry of Health provides guidelines both for basic mental health service and for community mental health programs. Ladies and gentlemen, mental health service must be able to respond to a very diverse range of needs like age, gender, diagnosis, phase of illness, cultural, and etc. Mental health problems is everyone's business in full-blown sector. Mental health service should be first effective, including achieve clinical outcomes, second appropriate, relevant to needs, third efficient, cost-effective, fourth responsive, protect rights, fifth accessible and equitable, geographic and financial accessibility, provided according to need, six safe for patients, staff and community, seven continuous across time program and organizations, and last capable, knowledgeable and secure staff. Maybe that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you for the representative of Indonesia, this Ali. And for the second report by Malaysia, Mrs. Ashmi. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the moderator. As you can find place. And good evening all. Good evening. Okay, here I am Azmi Zulkarahman as a delegation from Malaysia. Here I would like to share to you all about mental health in Malaysia. Kuala Lumpur by 2020, mental illness is detected to be the second biggest health problem affecting Malaysia after heart disease. According to the latest National Health and Morbidity Survey, every 3 in 10 adults and age 16 years and above in Malaysia suffer from some form of mental health disease. Unfortunately, there is still a lack of understanding of the disease, especially in terms of common mental disorders, the causes and possible consequences, as well as recognizing the early signs of major mental problems. There is also a strong social stigma associated with mental illness from a cultural standpoint shaped by superstitious beliefs and misconception. This negative perception often leads patients with mental illness to suffer in silence, often ostracized by society with little hope of acceptance, let alone recovery. So we have to know what is the real meaning of mental illness. Now, mental illness is often misunderstood. For centuries, it has been seen as either possession by evil spirits, a moral weakness, or punishment from a higher being. Those suffering from mental illness are commonly perceived to be restless, violent, and unpredictable. So this is very far from the truth. There are many forms of mental illness that differ in severity. It is a disturbance of the mind which can affect thinking, feeling, and behavior that may interfere with normal functioning and thus make daily life difficult. Most mental illness can be treated so that a reasonable state of health can be enjoyed. Like physical illness, mental illness is nothing to be ashamed. So symptoms from this mental illness. Mental illness is identified by symptoms. These include anxiety, depression, intense fear, sleep disturbance, paranoia, delusions, and usual elation. And how about the causes? It is unclear what causes mental disturbances. It is often preceded by emotional stress and difficulty coping with conflict or adjusting to adverse events. Other factors are biochemical imbalance, deteriorations of brain cells, and alcohol or drug abuse. So, several types of mental illness in Malaysia, it have detected includes anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder, depression, and schizophrenia. So, how serious is mental illness in Malaysia? Mental illness, like in many parts of the world, it is a emerging issue in the country and should be taken seriously, said consultant psychiatrist at University Malaysia Specialist Center. However, due to insufficient number of psychiatrists, there is not much appeal for those with mental issues. Okay, the number of psychiatrists in Malaysia until March 2017 was only 381, namely from the Ministry of Health 207, public universities 84, private universities 22, armed forces 5, and private sector 63. Okay, the number of psychiatrists to population ratio is 1 on 10,000, but in Malaysia the ratio is 1 to 100,000. And what is more worrying is that disease is also affecting more youngsters. This problem now has become more complex because it might relate to drugs, bullying, and some other issues compared previously when anxiety and stress was the main cause. So the problem could be treated at least within 6 months by undergoing proper treatment. There is also a risk of the condition worsening or reaching serious level when not addressed accordingly. Okay. To prevent this illness, we have community services. The first is family-to-family education program. During this year, courses are conducted by family to train other family members in mental illness and equip them with various skills to care for their loved ones and themselves. The second is public forums, workshops, and seminars. Public forums, workshops, and seminars are organized from time to time to create better awareness of mental illness and mental health issues of interest to the public or a certain segment of the population. The third is advocacy. Representation are made to related government agencies like the Ministry of Health and the Department of Social Welfare to advocate for the rights of the mentally ill and for better services to be provided. Okay, and the last is dissemination. Dissemination of information to public on how to maintain good mental health, how to recognize the early signs of mental health problems, the nature of the different types of mental health, where to get help, and the different type of treatment available in Malaysia. So, if you want to know more about mental health in Malaysia, you can see our website. Kindly contact MMHA or Malaysia Mental Health Association, or email us at admin@mmha.org or tomorrow for more info. Maybe that's all from me. Thanks. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for listening. And the next presentation by Mrs. Ina. Please.
Thank you for the moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. I'm Fadina Nagara Sharifah, as a delegation from Singapore. I will tell you about mental health condition in Singapore. Mental illness is a growing public health concern and a major socio-economic issue affecting individuals and families throughout the world. Yet, mental illness is often neglected due to a lack of understanding, misconception, discrimination, and stigma. Mental disorders are the top 5 contributors of disease burden in Singapore. It's all based on Epidemiology and Disease Control Division 2010. Next, the Singapore Mental Health Study was conducted to determine the prevalence of selected mental disorder in adult Singapore residents. This included major depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, alcohol abuse, and alcohol dependence. 12% of the adult resident population meet the lifetime criteria for the common affective anxiety or alcohol use disorder. Other key findings from the study showed that MDD, alcohol abuse, and OCD emerged as the top 3 most common disorders in Singapore. And the majority of the people with mental illness were not seeking help. Next is a mental health problem in Singapore. Even as more people are seeking outpatient treatment at the Institute of Mental Health, more than 5 in 10 respondents in recent survey indicate that they are unwilling to live nearby or work with people with mental disorder. The survey, which is the first of its kind by the National Council of Social Service, found that most people agreed that more needs to be done to reduce societal stigma. Yet they are also reluctant to accept them on an individual level. In the survey of 1,796 conducted last year, 6 in 10 people say they believe that mental health conditions are caused by lack of self-discipline and willpower, while half believe that person with mental health condition should not be given any responsibility. The 7 in 10 respondents in their daily life and 8 in 10 said they believe the best therapy is for them is to include it in society. And the next is things that we have been done for mental health. Traditionally, mental health care has been provided in hospital. Recognizing the need to develop mental health care capability in the community and increase integration of care between the different sectors, Singapore launched the National Mental Health Blueprint in 2007. The blueprint introduced the mental health policies and initiatives targeted at different groups, include children and young, adults, and elderly. To combat stigma, a nationwide 5-year public education campaign by NCSS was launched yesterday as a mental health festival. The Beyond the Label campaign, founded the Thought-Born Mental Health Strategic Initiative, will feature 5 Singaporeans aged 24 to 36 years old who are currently in recovery from mental health conditions such as depression, schizophrenia, and have taken on the role ambassador for the campaign. Their stories will be shown across Singapore, such as on public or MRT stations. From this month till January, NCSS will also be working with partner groups to counter stigma towards the mental health condition. And if you want to know more about mental health condition in Singapore, you can check our website in EMH website. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you from Singapore, Mrs. Yuna. And the next presentation will be delivered by Brunei Darussalam, Mrs. Siri. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Ian. I'm Siri Sofia Zahri. I'm a representative from Brunei Darussalam. Here, I want to explain about how the condition about mental illness in Brunei Darussalam. I want to introduce you what the Brunei Darussalam is. Brunei Darussalam is a small sovereign state about 2,200 square miles
on the north coast of the island of Borneo. Apart from South China Sea coastline, it is completely surrounded by the state of Sarawak, Malaysia, and it's separated into two parts by Sarawak district of Limbang. The western part comprises 3 districts, while the separated rural eastern part is the district of Temburong. The largest district is Belait, while the capital, Bandar Seri Begawan, is in the smallest district in Brunei Muara. The population in Brunei Darussalam is about 500,000, of which about 100,000 are migrant workers and dominated by Muslim people. And Brunei is constitutional sultanate with hereditary monarchy. And Brunei is ranked as a high-income country with a GDP per capita PSD 4,100 in 2020. And what is the mental health problems in community? Hospital outpatient and patient data indicates that the main mental health problem that present the psychiatric disturbances are psychotic disorder such as schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is mental health disease that affects someone that someone like to retire themselves alone, and that mental health problems followed by bipolar disorder and depression. There is no population-based data on the prevalence of mental health disorder. The introduction in 2013 of a national electronic patient information system provides the possibility of collecting treated prevalence data in the future. There is no current plan for population epidemiological studies. The main challenges facing people suffering from mental illness are stigma, like as informed by Azmi from Malaysia and from Singapore by Ina. Beliefs regarding spirits, possession, and black magic are still dominant, and the understanding of mental illness, fear, ignorance, and shame become a major barriers for seeking help. Many people are still kept at home for many years, and they only brought to the hospital in emergency to the accident and emergency department in crisis situations. For example, when they have become aggressive or when their parents are unable to look after them. Patients and their families may seek help for the primary care services from primary care clinics or hospital. Patients can be seen on the day they present to primary care services or in accident and emergency. Waiting list time for specialists of mental illness are very short and really more than a few weeks. Expertise in the management of mental health problems varies among general practitioners are working in primary care. In recent years, the doctors who work in primary care locally may choose to do a 3-month attachment in psychiatry. There have also been nationwide training programs in mental health, and the 2014 mental health order, which had exposed the majority of medical practitioners to the management of mental health problems. While the Ministry of Health seeks to provide mental health care of high quality, the difficulties encountered that include that the limited human resources and considerable bureaucratic process. However, considerable process has been made in recent years. That's all. Thanks.
Okay, thank you from Anisseri from Brunei Darussalam. And for the next presentation by Mrs. Fafi from Myanmar. Mrs. Fafi, please.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Ian. Well, I am Fafi Rahmat. I am a delegation from Myanmar. Myanmar is one of the countries in the Southeast Asia region and including developing countries. Most of the countries in Myanmar are giant mountain regions that cannot be traversed. The population of Myanmar consists of various tribes. The main religion adopted by most of Myanmar population is Buddhism. The main livelihoods of Myanmar residents are in the agriculture, plantation, and mining sectors. Mental health service in Myanmar. There are 25 outpatient mental health facilities, 2 day treatment facilities, 17 community-based psychiatric inpatient units, and 2 mental hospitals. The majority of beds in the country are provided by mental hospital, followed by residential unit. The percentage of family users is less than 40% of the patient population in all mental health facilities. The population of family users in high-risk in inpatient unit 55% and outpatient unit 24%. The diagnosis of schizophrenia and neurotic disorder are the most frequent diagnoses in outpatient facilities. And schizophrenia and mood disorder are the most common diagnoses in mental hospital. Essential psychotropic drugs from each therapeutic class are available in inpatient unit mental hospital and outpatient facilities. The next is mental health in primary health care. In terms of representative training on mental health, 1% of primary health care doctors, 3% of nurses, and 2% of non-doctor or non-nurse primary health care workers have received at least 2 days of training. Non-doctor or non-nurse primary health care workers are not allowed to prescribe psychotropic medicines in any circumstance. Nurses are allowed to prescribe, but with prescriptions. They are not allowed to initiate prescription, but are allowed to continue prescriptions. Primary health care doctors are allowed to prescribe psychotropic medicine without restrictions. The next is mental health system. There is no designated department of mental health in the government health structure. Administratively, provisions of mental health service is under the director. Medical care of the Department of Health. There is a focal person for mental health service in the Ministry of Health. The next is about aim of mental health service. Mental health card is provided with the aim of promotion of mental health, prevention of mental disorder, and strengthening of access to mental health service for the people of Myanmar. The objectives are two. The first one is implement strategies for promotion and prevention in mental health. The second one is reduce the treatment and service gap for mental disorder. And the third one is develop a mental health law appropriate to current situations of Myanmar. The fourth is provide evidence-based best practice for better care for mental health service by collaborating with stakeholders and international medical communities. The last one is ensure preparedness for mental health and psychosocial aspect of disasters. The next is about facilities. Mental health facilities total number mental health hospital to general hospital with mental health service is 32 beds in mental hospital, 1,400 beds for psychiatric cases in general hospital, 220. The next is about financing of mental health service. Less than 1% of mental care expenditure by the government of the department are directed toward mental health. Of all the expenditure spent on mental health, 87% is directed toward mental hospital. Data on financing for mental health service for salary, building, and equipment was not available. 31% of the population have free access at least 80% to essential psychotropic medicines. 4% are entitled to free care as well as free psychotropic drug if a supply is available. Okay, the next is about community-based mental health service. Community-based mental health service are delivered at primary care by launching the activity of the mental health project, developing model concept for community-based mental health care service, and planning to provide mental health care service. The main aim of the mental health project is to integrate mental health service into existing primary health care delivery system. The main service of the project is aims to provide care and support of mentally ill patients by training basic health staff and psychological and social support by family and the community. Mental health education is being provided through local and training basic health staff and community health workers. 40% of primary care centers use manual for treatment of common mental disorder and have at least one basic health worker training for mental health service. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Mrs. Papi. For the next presentation, will be delivered by Mrs. Susi from Philippines. Mrs. Susi, please.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Ian, for giving me time. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm the delegation from Philippines, and I'd like to tell you about the mental health condition in the Philippines. But before that, I want to tell you about the condition of our country and the health condition. As we know that Philippines is an archipelago located in Southeast Asian region. It is composed of two largest islands, which are Luzon in the north and Mindanao in the south. And there are islands collectively called the Visayas, or it is a village in between them. It has a tropical and maritime climate, and it is located in the typhoon belt of the Western Pacific. So it experiences an average of 20 typhoons each year. It also along the Pacific Rim of Fire and experiences a number of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, which make the country one of the most disaster. And the estimated population in 2015 is about 1,000.7 million. The Philippines has population growth rate about 2.4% annually, and is the 12th most populated country in the world. And the population is unevenly distributed, with the largest and most concentrated population in metropolitan Manila in the National Capital Region, or NCR, located in island of Luzon. And the Philippines is classified as the lower middle income country. It has a gross domestic product which coming mostly from service industries and agriculture, which remains the major economic. And then a major contributor to the gross national income is remittance from overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, and in 2006 is about 32.9% of families were below the poverty threshold, and the Gini coefficient indicates great economic inequality. And the Philippines has a presidential form of government system with three branches. The first is executive branch, then a bicameral legislature, and the independent judiciary. Under the Supreme Court, The executive branch exercise administrative and regulatory control over the health system as a whole through the national government agencies and local government units, or you can call it LGU. And the next is about general health system. The general health system, life expectancy birth of Filipinos in 2007 was 72 years, while the health adjusted life expectancy, or HALE, was 59 years for men and 64 years for women. And then a woman tends to live longer than men. Then the leading causes of the death among people with non-communicable disease are heart disease, vascular disease, and malignant neoplasma, and for communicable disease, tuberculosis and pneumonia. There is inequality in access to service that may be caused by social, economic, and geographic barriers. And the next point is about the health system, governance, and organization. The health delivery system in the Philippines involves a national government agency, the Department of Health, LGUs, and the private sector composed of for-profit and non-profit healthcare facilities or providers. For the health delivery system in the Philippines, for the national government agency, the first is the Department of Health, regulatory health facilities, highly specialized for hospital, large training, teaching medical centers, and nationwide programs. And from non-DOH, or Department of Health facilities, for example, like military hospital, health facilities run by academic institution. And for the local government units, there are two, under the governor and under the mayor. And for the private sector, for the profit health facilities and non-profit health facilities. And the next point is about health system priorities. The health reforms in the Philippines aim to address the poor accessibility, inequalities, and inefficiencies. The current health system, the priority of the reforms is focused on 6 areas of the healthcare system. The first is good governance. Second is service delivery. The third is regulation. The fourth is health financing. Next is health information system, and the last is health human resource. And then now the point about mental health problem in our country. Well, the mental health problem in the Philippines is suicide because by depression. The level of depression increases from year to year, caused by social and economic aspects, such as divorce and divorce. And then, according to DOH, or Department of Health, there is increasing rate of suicide and increase in self-inflicted injuries. Death by suicide reached 2.2 per 100,000 population in 2005, and then increased from 0.5 and 2 in 1980 and 1996 respectively. And then in 2006, a study conducted by DOH, or Department of Health, among government employees revealed that 32% of the respondents have experienced a mental health problem in their lifetime. Among the most prevalent diagnoses were like specific phobia, alcohol abuse, depression, males were most likely to have substance-related problems than females, and schizophrenia and other related disorders. And then the next point is about mental health system. The mental health system, the provision of mental health services is governed by general health and related laws such as in Magna Carta for disabled persons, the Penal Code, Family Code, and Dangerous Drugs Act, and National Mental Health Policy. And there are different types of mental health facilities, with most located in the National Capital Region. In Manila, mental hospital have an overall occupancy rate of 62%. In the past 5 years, there has been no increase in the number of beds. And then there are 3 independent mental hospital, the government outnational center for mental health. There are 4,200 beds and 2 privately run 60-bed mental hospitals. And some teaching institutions or universities also maintain a psychiatric department with it's about 10 till 20 beds and outpatient services. And then the human resources. Alright, the last point is medication. The wide range of conventional and typical psychotropic medication are available in the country. Most commercial pharmacies carry this medication. And then, even now, our president has issued a new policy that the law on free service or care for people with illness mental, the law integrates mental health care into the country's public system. The policy also provides the free mental health services, and then such as counseling and treatment, and then to take to the lowest political district in the country known as barangay or village in Philippines. And then the policy also requires hospital to open special unit that will provide the psychiatric, psychological, and neurological services and promote mental health education in school and workplace. And for more information, you can contact us in www.fma.com. That's all. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Susi. And for the next presentation will be delivered by Mrs. Puput from Cambodia. Mr. Puput, please.
Thank you, Mr. Ian. Okay, my name is Puput Mariani, and I, as delegation of Cambodia, I would like to share about mental health in Cambodia. To the point, mental health problem in the community, while there are some NGOs and non-health institutions that have done prevalence studies in Cambodia and published in international journals, there is no official MOH data on epidemiology of mental disorders. In Cambodia, there is no study on the prevalence of mental illness among primary care attendants. Community awareness programs have been delivered by some NGOs. However, there is no official report available. Mental health service delivery in Cambodia is based on an approach that integrates mental health into the general health system, referral hospital, and health centers. The Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse has the following responsibilities, such as the first one is develop laws, strategies, plan, guidelines, and other legislation related to mental health and substance abuse. And the second one is manage mental health and substance abuse database system. And the third is supervise, monitoring, and evaluation on the progress and achievement of mental health and substance abuse services. Conduct research on mental health and substance abuse. And the next is coordinate and collaborate with other ministries, relevant institution development partners. And the next is organize national and international events related to mental health and substance abuse. Mental health facilities in Cambodia. Most mental health services have been developed in public health sector. In general health facilities such as referral hospitals, and health centers. There are some mental health services provided by NGOs such as Transcultural Psychosocial Organization, Center of Child and Adolescent Mental Health, and Social Service of Cambodia. However, good coordination between MOH and NGOs has not yet been achieved. And the next point is mental health human resources. The mental health workplace in Cambodia includes psychiatrists, psychiatric nurse, psychologists, psychiatrists, nurse, and social workers. However, due to national budget constraints for health, the Ministry of Health can recruit only psychiatrists and psychiatric nurses to work in the public health sector. And the next point is mental health service in Cambodia. The first one is referral hospital. Service for mental health and substance abuse have been included in the complementary package of activities or CPAs. Cambodia offers mental health and drug treatment service at referral hospitals. The hospitals are responsible for the care and treatment of psychiatric and drug-dependent patients, including counseling, psychoeducation. And the second one is psychosocial intervention. The goal is providing a comprehensive service for mentally and substance dependent patients. And the object is determining roles of mental health service. The third is health information system. The mental health information system has been incorporated in the National Health Information System, or NHIS. However, there is only very limited mental health information that can be recorded through the NHIS. The NHIS focuses on collecting data from routine health service activities and health problems. And the next point is challenges. The increased burden of mental illness will become a major burden of individuals and services requiring long-term and costly treatment, as well as rehabilitation will have significant impact on investment in medical technology, clinic, wage, and training. The level of population coverage by mental health service is far below the coverage plan due to resource constraints that limit expansion of service at health centers and referral hospitals. There is a great need to accelerate the expansion of service, including child mental health service. And the third is improvement in quality of care in health facilities remains a critical issue of concern because of lack of clinical practice, guidelines, and standards, and quality monitoring tools. The last one is opportunities. The Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse has been created to respond to the mental health needs of the population. The Ministry of Health of Cambodia strongly support the integration of mental health in primary care facilities. In addition, the government also support and allocates the budget for continuous primary care training on mental health. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for this report. For the next presentation will be delivered by Mrs. Lia from Vietnam. Mrs. Lia, please.
Thanks for moderator. Good evening. Here I am a delegation from Vietnam. Vietnam is a country lying on the eastern seaboard of the Indonesian Peninsula, when with an approximate geographical area of 330 and 181 square kilometers. Vietnam has a population of 82,080 million people. The main language used in the country is Vietnamese, and for the ethnic groups in Vietnam is Viet or Thien. And total of 5 people ethnic groups, but more than 80% of the population speak Vietnamese or Thien or Viet. And for the religious groups includes Buddhists and Catholics. And it's about mental health system. The World Health Organization assessment instrument for mental health system (WHOANS) was used to collect information of the mental health system in Vietnam. The goal of collecting this information is to improve the mental health system itself and to provide the baseline for monitoring change. This will enable Vietnam to develop information-based mental health plans with clear baseline information and targets. It will also be useful to monitor progress in implementing reforms, policies, providing community service, and involving users, family, and other stakeholders in mental health promotion, prevention, care, and rehabilitation. Based on the assessment, the strength of the mental health system in Vietnam are: the first one, there is legislation to protect human rights of patients. The second one, there are efforts to promote the equity of access to mental health service. And the third, essential psychotropic medicines are available in all hospital facilities. And the fourth, the mental health sector has formal links with other relevant sectors such as health and education. The plans contain the following components like organization of service, human resources, financing, quality improvement, monitoring service, human rights protection of users, advocacy and promotion, and improvement of users. And for mental hospital itself, there are 39 hospitals available in the country for a total of 500 beds. 80% of these facilities are organized or integrated with mental health outpatient facilities. 4% of beds in mental are reserved for children and adolescents. And next step is planning mental health session. The planning workshop in August of 2004, the planning workshop was held. One was in Hanoi and the other in Ho Chi Minh City. This workshop identified the following priorities. The first one for increasing budget for mental health, educating general public through the media, newspaper, and TV on mental health care. And the last, investing more in the infrastructure and equipment for mental health facilities. And for mental health outpatient facilities, the first one, there are 600 outpatient mental health facilities available in the country. However, there are no facilities exclusively for children and adolescents. And of all users in the mental health outpatient facilities, 39% are female and 70% are children or adolescents. And there are time frames divided into the first one short-term action, and the second one medium-term action. And for mental health information system, this health information system initiative is expected to connect and facilitate collaboration
facilitate at different levels, improve the knowledge of the and reporting, keep track of organizational aspect of mental facilities, and the application that is the Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for Mrs. Leah. Our last entry will be delivered by Mr. Noma from Thailand. Mr. Noma, please.
Okay, thanks for the moderator who has given the opportunities to give the mental health in Thailand. Okay, the Ministry of the Public Health, or NOPH, is responsible for population health and health advice. It is organized into 8 departments. Each of the 77 provinces has a provincial public health office, or PHO, and there is a district public health office in each of the 7,255 districts. The Department of Mental Health, the National Mental Health Authority, has been integrating mental health care into general health and primary health care policy. As a result, community hospitals around the country have continually enhanced their capacity to provide primary and community-based mental health service, while regional and provincial hospitals have developed psychiatric clinics, inpatient units, and psychiatric supervision. There are 8 government agencies under the supervision of NOPH, focusing on different aspects of health service management with increasingly decentralized governance arrangement. These crucial autonomous organizations are considered an essential health system and policy mechanism. Effective engagement with civil society occurs throughout government agency, partnerships, and non-government organizations or in-house networks. For first, we talk about health service delivery levels. First is self-care. Self-care at family levels includes the enhancement of people's capacity to provide self-care and make decisions about health. Second, primary health care includes activities organized by the community in providing service related to health promotion and prevention. Secondary health care level. General hospitals and regional hospitals, secondary health care is management by medical and health personnel with specialization. And the last, tertiary health care. General hospital, regional hospitals, university hospitals, large private hospitals. Tertiary care provides more specialist treatment. And the second is health financing. Thailand has attempted to develop health service schemes and benefits for the Thai citizen and to achieve health for all. In 2012, 99% of Thai citizens were covered by health insurance schemes. Third, health workforce. Thailand has been limited both in general hospitals and at the level of primary health care unit. Fourth, health service. According to the Bureau of Policy and Strategies 2012, the crucial health service priorities of the 11 National Health Developing Plan during 2012 until 2016 are: first, strengthen health management system according to established standards, improving doctors or population ratio, and reducing regional disparities. Second, mobility and mortality rates due to disasters, epidemics, and health threats, mobility rates due to emerging and re-emerging infectious disease, mortality rates due to natural disasters, and mobility rates due to occupational and environment disease. Third, controlling morbidity rates due to heart disease, cerebrovascular disease, and sensors rates of patients with diabetes and hypertension. Access to service. Access to service by people by mental health and psychiatric problems is varies. These three from the Bureau of Mental Health Strategy surveys in 2013 reveal the different percentage of patients who can access treatment and diagnostic service when compared with the estimated totals of people affected by mental health and psychiatric problems. Access to service is highest among patients with psychotic disorders, 48%, followed by mood disorders, 80%. The lowest access rate is found among the elderly with Alzheimer's and alcohol-related behavioral disorders patients, 18% and 32% respectively. And now, let's move to mental problems in Thailand. Mental health problems are still stigmatized in Thai society. People are still afraid of being labeled as mentally ill and have incorrect beliefs about mental health problems. As a result, people with mental disorders in the community don't seek or fully participate in mental health care, often encourage relatives and friends who have mental disorders to do so. Community mental health services in Thailand have been integrated into the public health service system throughout the Ministry of Public Health administrative infrastructures from village to regional levels. However, there are still varying superstitions in each region of the country. Some believe that all mental health problems are equal to psychosis, and some believe that psychotic disorders are symptoms of being possessed by a spirit or ghost. The Mental Health Department, or MHD, the National Mental Health Authority, provides advice to government on mental health policies and legislation, sets the standard of care, and develop and transfer mental health technologies to all stakeholders. Mental health services are integrated into general health service and organized in terms of service area. The Department of Mental Health, as a representative of Ministry of Public Health, is responsible for implementation and administration of the Mental Health Act, BE 2008, and issues regulations and notification for the execution in the Act. The National Mental Health Board is the mechanism to lay down policy and measure in relation to protection of rights of persons with mental disorders and the access of mental health service as well as social inclusion. It is responsible for conducting research studies, developing and transferring knowledge and technologies relating to the promotion of mental health and prevention, treatment as well as rehabilitation of mental health problems, providing service especially for serious or complicated cases of mental disorders, and enhancing knowledge and skill relating to mental health and psychiatry for medical and health personnel as well as other personnel in both public and private sectors. And the last vision of the mental health plan was in 2005. These plans contain the same components as the mental health service policy, but also include human resources, involvement of users and families, advocacy and promotion, equal of access to mental health service across different groups, financing and monitoring system. The main policy mechanism to improve the quality of mental health services working through the WHO Mental Health Care Action Programs. That's all.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Nomad. And thank you for the representative that had delivered the condition of mental health in each country specifically. And for the second session is the question session by the representative to each country, to other countries. Okay?
Mrs. Hafi, may I ask you about the condition in Myanmar?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I want to ask you, as you know that Myanmar is a small country, right? Okay, I want to ask you, is your country have some kind of organization to prevent this mental illness specifically?
Okay, thank you for Ms. Ajmi.
Actually, we don't have organization especially of mental health. But in Myanmar, all health is arranged in one organization. There is MMA or Myanmar Malaysian Associations.
Okay. Maybe any questions from the representative to the other representative? Yeah, please.
Okay, I want to ask to Ms. Alim. Is there any way to prevent mental illness in Indonesia?
Okay, I want to answer the question from Ms. Lia. So far in Indonesia, we just give the counseling for the citizen and especially for the students in Indonesia. And the counseling is given by the psychologists or psychiatrists. And we hope that by the counseling, the citizen can increase their awareness about mental health. We just give the treatment and rehabilitation to help them to overcome their problems.
Okay, I want to ask to Mrs. Azmi. Did you find the difficulties to in mental illness for Malaysia?
Okay, I think there is no big problem for preventing this mental illness in Malaysia because why? Because the services are provided in Malaysia, like the specifically hospital, and we have an association for arranging this mental illness, namely MMHA, Malaysia Mental Health Association. But I think I really got stuck for the finder often leads patients with mental illness to suffer in silence, often ostracized by society with little hope of acceptance, let alone recovery. And they just take painkillers rather than going to proper assessment and seek treatment from psychiatrists.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to ask Ms. Lia. You said before there are one short-term actions and medium-term actions. Can you give me an example for that?
Okay, for one short question, that could be accomplished with a 6-month period, such as training program to develop human resources, including psychiatrism, nurse, and psychologists. And for one medium-term action, that could be accomplished with 2 years time frame, such as development of community service into more of social facilities, program development for adolescents, and children mental health service. That's all. Thank you.
Alright, I want to change. Can I change the topic?
Okay.
I think it is not an individual problem. It is our problem, our Southeast problem. So it is very urgent because this is our problem or every country's problem. So do you have any suggestion how to solve the mental solution in our country? I think this is really important. And I have one suggestion for us. I think how if we held a mental health service among Southeast countries, like for example, like expert exchange among countries, or make any program, and also we can also improve the psychiatrists especially in developed countries. How about that?
I agree with that. And also we can make an online forum so everyone can share to the psychiater, to the doctor, so they can share about their mental illness in the forum.
Yeah, I agree with you because now as an online era, so to educate the citizen, it can be through the online media such as one application, and then all citizens can reach that application
country, I think Singapore is developed country, so I suggest you to make that application. Don't you mind?
No, I don't mind, but yeah, that was a good idea.
Well, okay, I agree with her suggestion that as we know that Singapore has the technology, advanced in technology, which the most advanced technology technology fields among the countries in Southeast. I think this is the very suitable for making the application by Singapore. How about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. Because especially in my country, there is application, but it's still insufficient for my country. So I agree with if Singapore make the application,
But not just for Singapore only.
Yeah, also it can be published for all the citizens. I assume.
Yeah, I mean, the Singapore, become the first developer, so we can make our version, our language, every language.
How about another voice?
Is there any suggestion for us for this proposition?
I do agree with application because I think this is globalization era and we need the modern technology like application to make all the things easier. And I think with application, it will open the public eyes to be aware about mental health, and it can help the sufferer of mental health to get the practical tips and solutions to manage and overcome their problems.
They can build more knowledgeable mental illness too.
Yeah.
Any suggestion or addition or maybe equation? Okay, so the conclusion from this meeting, we can make the mobile application that can help the victims from the mental health and can help awareness and improve the mental health in ASEAN, not in Singapore only, and hopefully this application can help our country from mental health problem. And thank you from each country that representation the condition of each country. And thank you for the audience, and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.